In a small town where nothing much happened except the occasional pothole debate, 14-year-old Clara Montgomery spent most of her time trying to figure out why physics hated her. There was the time in third grade when she got stuck to the ceiling during music class. No one saw how it happened. One moment, she was singing an off-key rendition of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and the next, she was hovering 6 feet above her classmates, upside down, like a human chandelier. "It's magnets," her science teacher insisted. "Some sort of freak magnetic interference." But unless Clara secretly ate iron filings for lunch, the theory didn't quite add up. Then there was the time she accidentally made the school's flagpole bend sideways, or the morning she woke up with her feet glowing faintly blue. But those things were fleeting, weird little blips she'd managed to keep mostly hidden. Sure, she felt different, but who didn't feel like a weirdo in middle school? It wasn't until the invasion began that things started to make sense. It started on a Tuesday afternoon. Clara was sulking in her room after a failed math test when the sky turned green. Not a lovely springtime green, but an ominous we're-all-going-to-die shade of lime. The clouds twisted unnaturally, forming shapes that looked suspiciously like middle fingers aimed at Earth. Then the ships arrived. They weren't the sleek UFOs of movies, but clunky, rust-colored monstrosities that looked like someone had duct-taped together several washing machines. The alien invaders, known as the Gorgnak's Horde, had done their homework. They'd studied Earth's weaknesses, noting our penchant for Wi-Fi outages and easily panicked influencers. They expected resistance, but nothing they couldn't squash. What they hadn't accounted for was Clara. The first wave of attack hit downtown. Gornak's soldiers, 8-foot-tall beings resembling angry marshmallows, stormed the streets with weapons that shot what looked like molten spaghetti. Chaos erupted. Cars were flipped. Someone dropped a churro. Clara was in the middle of it, frozen in fear, until a particularly large Gornax cornered her. Its weapon hummed ominously. "This is how I die," she thought, "on a Tuesday in my pajamas." But just as the alien fired, something inside her snapped. Her body glowed, bright as a supernova, and the blast stopped. It hovered midair, reversed, and slammed back into the Gornak soldier, launching it into the stratosphere like a squishy space rocket. "What just happened?" she whispered, staring at her hands, now sparking faintly. The answer came in the form of her dad, or rather the hologram of him that suddenly appeared in the middle of the chaos. "Clara!" the hologram boomed, startling her. "Dad, you're see-through!" "Listen carefully," he said, his voice echoing with a dramatic flair. "I am not from Earth. I am Calthar, an ancient guardian of the realms. You inherited my powers, dormant until the day they were needed. That day is today." "You couldn't have given me a heads-up," Clara snapped, dodging a stray spaghetti blast. "There are rules about interfering with mortal lives," Calthar explained sheepishly. "Also, I forgot. Anyway, you must stop the Gornak's Horde. Only you can harness the ancient energy within you." Before she could ask what ancient energy meant, the hologram fizzled out. Clara discovered her powers were both incredible and deeply inconvenient. She could levitate, deflect energy blasts, and summon glowing shields. But only when she wasn't accidentally sticking herself to buildings or short-circuiting nearby electronics. Despite her clumsiness, she became the planet's last hope. The Gornak's general Grubtorque underestimated her at first. "A child?" he scoffed. "This is your champion?" By the time she sent him flying through 3 of his own ships with a single energy wave, he wasn't scoffing anymore. The battle raged for hours, with Clara unleashing powers she didn't fully understand. Finally, Grubtorque called for retreat. "This isn't over. Wait till I tell my dad on you. You're nothing but a bully," he yelled, shaking a fist as his ships fled. "Oh, it's very over. Oh, I'm the bully. Hey, you don't see me attacking other worlds, you bastard," Clara replied, hurling a car-sized energy ball at his flagship for good measure. Afterward, Clara learned the truth about her heritage. Her dad was an intergalactic protector, her mom was a very confused human, and she was apparently some kind of cosmic superhero. The Gorgnak's emperor was less than pleased with grub talk. Reports say his last words were, "It was just one kid," before the emperor hit the trapdoor button on his throne, disposing of the general, who was quickly replaced. As for Clara, life didn't go back to normal. She became Earth's unofficial guardian, always keeping an eye on the stars for the next threat. She still had questions, like why her powers made her crave so much pizza, but she figured those could wait. After all, saving the world wasn't a bad way to spend a Tuesday, but something told her that she still needed to be ready for all the other days of the week, too. A month after Clara had sent the Gornak's horde packing, life was weird. Sure, she was a hero, but her mom still made her do her homework, and her math teacher wasn't impressed with saving the planet as an excuse for missing assignments. He just shrugged his shoulders. "Maths is the true hero in this story, little miss." Clara rolled her eyes and wondered if she had any other superpowers that could sort this stubborn maths teacher out. She had just settled into the idea of being Earth's secret protector when the hologram of her dad, Calthar, reappeared, this time hovering above the dining table during spaghetti night. "Clara," the shimmering figure boomed, startling her mom into dropping her fork. "Your presence is urgently required beyond Earth. The balance of the realms is at stake." "Beyond Earth?" Clara exclaimed, choking on a meatball. "You're taking my daughter where?" her mom demanded, wielding a sauce-covered spoon like a weapon. Calthar winced. "I promise, it's safe. Ish, she's the only one who can do this." "What's the mission?" Clara asked, intrigued despite herself. Calthar hesitated, then said, "The universe's most dangerous artifact, the Orb of Infinite Annoyance, has been stolen. If activated, it could destabilize entire galaxies. And I think you're going to want to see who took it." "Who?" Clara leaned forward. "Your half-brother." Clara was too stunned to argue as Calthar's hologram opened a swirling portal in the living room. She hugged her mom, promising to call, even though she wasn't sure intergalactic reception was a thing, and stepped through. She emerged on what looked like a spaceship designed by someone who loved lava lamps and bubble wrap. Calthar stood there in the flesh, tall and imposing, with a cape that seemed to defy gravity. "Welcome aboard the Guardian Spire," he said, gesturing dramatically. "This is our base of operations." "Cool ship," Clara said, looking around. "Do you guys have snacks?" Calthar sighed. "Focus, Clara. We're dealing with Malfarn, your half-brother. He's let's call him my complicated son. He's always been power-hungry, but stealing the orb, that's a new low." "Wait," Clara interrupted. "So I have a half-brother who's a galactic criminal? Why didn't you tell me about him earlier?" "Intergalactic custody battles are tricky," Calthar muttered. "Let's move on." The mission wasn't just important, it was chaotic. Clara learned the Orb of Infinite Annoyance was aptly named. When activated, it emitted a frequency that made everyone within a 10-light-year radius mildly but constantly irritated. Galaxies would collapse into war over bad moods and frayed tempers. Malfarn had taken it to the planet Zerglon, a neon wasteland populated by outlaw karaoke enthusiasts. "Here's the plan," Calthar explained as their ship approached Zerglon. "We get in, retrieve the orb, and—" Before he could finish, Clara's powers activated, glowing around her like a faulty Christmas light display. "Does that mean I'm ready, or does it mean I'm about to explode?" Clara asked nervously. "Both," Calthar admitted. On Zerglon they found Malfarn sitting on a throne made of melted disco balls, the Orb of Infinite Annoyance hovering ominously above him. He looked like a younger, moodier version of Calthar, complete with a cape but accessorized with a sneer. "Well, well," Malfarn said, spotting Clara. "Little sister, finally decided to join the family business?" "You call stealing universal artifacts a business?" Clara shot back. "It's lucrative," Malfarn replied, shrugging. "You'd be surprised how much people will pay for an artifact that makes their enemies perpetually irritable." "You're using the orb to make people grumpy?" Clara groaned. That's so petty. It's an art form, Malphon snapped. The battle was as ridiculous as it was intense. Malphon's minions, a group of sentient six-legged karaoke machines, attacked with ear-piercing renditions of Bohemian Rhapsody. Clara countered with her newfound ability to emit sound-canceling waves, creating pockets of silence in the chaos. She and Malphon faced off, powers colliding in bursts of light and energy. Clara's emotions surged. Frustration, anger, but also something unexpected. Sympathy. Malphon wasn't evil. Not really. He was just lost. "Why are you doing this?" she asked mid-battle. "Because no one ever noticed me," Malphon shouted. "You got the powers, the spotlight, the hero's journey. I got nothing." Clara paused. "You're literally standing on a throne of disco balls. You're not exactly invisible." Malphon hesitated, clearly thrown off. That's when Calthar swooped in, snatching the orb and deactivating it. Back aboard the Guardian Spire, Malphon was locked in a containment field that looked suspiciously like a giant snow globe. "I'll handle him," Calthar promised. Clara shook her head. "Maybe we could, I don't know, give him another chance. He's not evil, Dad. He's just kind of a jerk." Calthar considered this, then nodded. "Fine, but if he starts another galactic incident, it's on you." Malphon sulked in his containment globe. "I heard that." As they returned to Earth, Clara realized her life was no longer just about saving the planet. It was about protecting the galaxy, dealing with family drama, and figuring out how to balance it all. Her dad offered her a permanent spot with the Guardians, but Clara declined, for now. "I'm not ready to leave Earth behind," she said. "Besides, I think Malphon owes me a rematch in actual karaoke." Calthar smiled. "You've got your mother's stubbornness, you know." "And your weird glowing powers," Clara added. They laughed as the Guardian Spire warped toward home. Clara had a feeling this was just the beginning.